Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Manchester Blue Show. I'm Laney, you're you. Got Dan Fielden joining us tonight,
How do?
and we are lucky enough to have a pro footballer join us as well. Danny, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, good. Good, mate. Cheers for having me on.
Good,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Just as a heads up for all the people who are going to be watching tonight, no, Danny Williams hasn't played for Man City at any point during his career, but we've got him on because we specifically want to know things about the life of modern day pro footballers. Obviously, in the past, we've had discussions about Man City's academy and how things have run at our club. Obviously, myself and other members of the team have had issues with how our academy works at the minute. And obviously, with City at the minute, everything's just all money, money, money. So, just different perspective of modern day football. And obviously, for any youngsters, pay attention. You might learn something. It might get you your first contract moving forward. So, I'll crack on, Danny. You're a left wing by trade.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm a left winger. Played left back a few times as well. But also played in midfield. That was pretty much me in Inverness. It was more of I played in a lot of positions and it helped me out. It got me quite a lot of game time. So I was happy with that.
So just being that sort of versatile, you can slot in where you needed.
Yeah, predominantly I was on the left wing and left back. But anywhere really, yeah. Anywhere I was needed, I was willing to play, yeah.
Yeah. You have confessed to yourself that you've only got one foot, which is your left foot. So as long as you're on the left-hand side rather than the right, you're kind of sorted for that. How did you get started then in football? So, where did it all start for you? Because these days, we're both from Leigh, but in that area, you've got the PFA have got their academy at the Sports Village, where you can pay and you get all your training stuff. But when I was younger, I didn't see anything like that. It was all sort of Sunday league. You just joined your local grassroots team. So where did it start for you, mate?
Yeah, that's exactly it. There was nothing like that, especially where we're from. It was more of a rugby town because I'm from Leigh.
Yeah.
And I found a place in Hinley, and it was very much seven-a-side stuff from the age of 8, 9 years old. And then I went from there to play in an 11-a-side team, which was called Pennington Raiders. Eventually changed to Daisy Hill because we used their facilities. But yeah, I just got into it through that, just playing seven-a-side stuff in Hinley, little tournaments, and it was really good, and I just enjoyed it, and I took to that. I like playing rugby as well, but I just think I took to football more at that age.
Yeah, so it kind of helps as well doing it a lot in school as well because it was more during PE. We couldn't really play rugby much during lessons and stuff, but football was there even at break times and stuff. Now, you mentioned you played for, you ended up at Daisy Hill. Were you at Daisy Hill when they had the sort of more non-league status? Because I know they're at that point now where they're charging fans to go watch games. They're getting a bit of a decent crowd. Where were they when you were there?
So when I was there, I actually got picked up for Wigan Athletic when I was 11. I was playing for like both teams because you could then. And I got released when I was 15 from there. So I went to Daisy Hill youth team because all my mates were still like at the same club. So I went back playing with them. But Daisy Hill, the first team, you still had to pay to get in, but it was something like £4. It weren't much. It was not. I think it was Northwest Counties Division 1 or 2. That's what the kind of standard they were at. I don't know what they are now. I think they might be similar.
Yeah, I think the same. Yeah,
similar. And then I was started playing for the first team. I think I was 17, something like that. And it went from there.
So you just mentioned then that you were playing for Wigan Athletic and their youth team at 11. Obviously, at the same time, like we went to school with Michael Lee, didn't we, as well? And he was at United, but obviously he wasn't allowed to play for. He wasn't even allowed to play for the school team or anything. But you were allowed to play for other teams. So was that just because of where Wigan were in the league sort of thing at that point,
Yeah,
a bit
it
lower
was.
down the leagues.
Wigan Athletic at the time, I don't know if they're in League 1 or 2, and they were a school of excellence, and it wasn't run like a Man United was. I know they were like a Grade 1 academy or whatever they call it now, but yeah, he wasn't allowed to play. He couldn't even play for school. I remember that, but I could.
So do you think that helped you with your development? Because obviously you were getting game time for Daisy Hill as well at that age, whether you were playing for Wigan or not, but you were allowed to play more football,
Definitely.
Against teams. Did that help you more with your development, do you reckon?
I think so. I think it suited me. Got me into men's football pretty early as well, whereas I don't know what they go up to now. Is it under 23s or something like that? I was playing men's football at 16, 17, albeit it wasn't a high standard, but it was still physical. The physicality was there. And also, I could play different sports. I was playing rugby for the school as well, up until a certain age, playing football for them. I think you should play all different kinds of sports. I think it makes you who you are as a player. And I don't know whether Mike was allowed to do that, or any other players at them academies were allowed to do that, but I was.
Yeah, because I mean, not to put a dampener on his career, but like I know he went from United, he went to Belgium on loan for like a few games, and then I think from what I've read, I don't think he's managed 100 games in his career, So where you've gone from strength to strength and really cracked on, because you ended up from Daisy Hill, you actually went to FC United, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think going back to that with Mike, it just people develop at different ages as well, and I don't know the situation. He was a good player, wasn't he, at school, and so he was really good, really fit. But yeah, I don't know what happened with that. Yeah, but what was the last question? I forgot what you said.
So when you moved to FC United, was that after? Was that when they not long since formed?
No, I think they'd done a year or something like that. Yeah, I think they'd done a year, and I was actually training with Leeds Genesis because they'd just gone. They were going to go full time, and then it folded. So I went from there to FC United, but it was Daisy Hill to FC because I didn't really sign for Lee. Yeah, I went to there. Yeah, FC United, well supported club. Don't know what you think about them being the blue.
Well, from an if you try and look at it in a neutral perspective, I think what they've done is admirable. They formed the club because they didn't like how their own team was being run, and and that you got to hand it to them. But I suppose for those of them that don't know, like you mentioned about Leeds Genesis, Leeds Genesis previously were Lee RMI, who were a sort of non-league semi-pro club. And I can't remember what year it was, but they did achieve promotion to the National League. They got promotion from the conference, and then they were basically refused because the ground wasn't up to the standard. And so they didn't get promoted, and after that it just went from bad to worse, and they ended up folding altogether. So that's where Leeds Genesis then reformed, because Gary Flitcroft, I believe, took over for a short while, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
Was that while you were there?
No, it was a guy called Steve Bleasdale when I was there. I don't know if you know him, Scouser. Yeah.
Right. But obviously after FC United, you ended up in a couple of, non-league teams for Clitheroe, Kendal?
Yeah, I did, yeah. When I was at FC United, I think I was still 19. And that was my first real taste of fans in a ground, to be honest. Because we'd gone from, 30 fans to there were sometimes 4,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 fans. And I enjoyed it. I liked it. Felt like I was a little bit too young. I know it seems a bit silly because you get players playing under like 17, 18, but for me it felt like I was, and I just kind of needed to take that step back and play more games. So yeah, I got the chance to go to Clitheroe and then Kendal, which I think worked wonders for me really, because that's where I really started enjoying football again.
Yeah, and go on.
The divisions down there as well, suppose it's sort of, obviously firsthand, it'll probably improve you as a player mentally, knowing how tough the fans, especially the opposition fans, because as you can probably tell by my accent, I'm from York, and you probably played against York, did you? Maybe a couple of times.
We played against York a couple of months back in the pre-season game before the playoffs.
The away fans are quite unforgiving if you ever did a dodgy challenge out like that. But I suppose it must improve you mentally as well, knowing to take that stick.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right with that. But I'd say it's more. It makes more of you when you get fans from your own team giving you stick rather than the opposition, because that shows real character of a player if they're getting, you're 2-0 down or whatever, and all the fans are on your case, and you still want the ball, you still want to get involved. And I don't know. I think when you get stick from other fans, I enjoy that. I think it's just part and part of football. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, one of the games I could tell, one of the teams is Hearts. People are always going about Hearts, how volatile that stadium is and how close the fans are to you. And I love playing there. It's one of my favourite. That was one of my favourite grounds to play at. Yeah.
He just sounded so much like Chris then when he's doing one of his lives. He takes no, he lives off having abuse.
Yeah, you got to be the pantomime villain, though, aren't you? That's what it's all about, really. Did it? Just going on from that, did it really? Was there any sort of moment in your career where, like, for whatever reason, the fans got on your back of it, like your own fans, and it really did sort of affect your game? Like you thought, like, well, you just wanted to be out of there.
I wouldn't say out of there. I didn't have a great time at Dundee. I'll admit that it wasn't one of the places I enjoyed going. At first I did, but it didn't work out. I didn't play my best football there, and I think we were near the bottom of the league, so everyone was just getting stick, no matter who was on the pitch. It didn't really matter. And when I don't know, I think it's just maybe being an Englishman in Scotland, they didn't really like that either.
Yeah, because Dundee's quite die-hard Scottish lot, aren't they, to be fair? I just want to go on to your loan move to Chester, because obviously, I mean, being a City fan, I remember the 99 season we played Chester in the FA Cup first round, and that was back when it was Chester City, and they were a league club. Obviously, they folded and reformed as Chester FC, and you ended up on loan there, didn't you, for a season?
Yeah, it was a weird one, that, because they were a league above us, and they were going well in the Conference North. And they actually I think they put an offer in to buy me at one point from Kendal, and they didn't accept it. Kendal turned it down, but then they ran out of money, Kendal, so they were struggling to pay wages. And this was literally a month after they just turned this down. So then they said, "Do you want to go on loan? Because we're struggling to pay wages and whatnot." So I said, "Well, yeah. Of course I'll go there." And then, it was a good time at Chester. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, you won promotion with them, didn't you? You played quite a few games, got some goals, and you won.
I did.
You got the promotion, so
yeah, it was perfect.
And it was there that. Sorry, go on, Dad. Sorry, mate.
No, I'm just saying it was perfect the way it worked out for me. I joined them; they were right at the top of the league, and I don't know if we went unbeaten, but I think we brought records, and we won the league and a cup as well. I can't remember, Cheshire Senior Cup or something.
It was a
good time for me.
Yeah, you got that's where you got noticed by Inverness Cali Thistle as well, isn't it? While you were at Chester.
It was, yeah. It was a guy called Steve Marcello and Rob Shield, my agent at the time, got in touch with me saying that would I want to go to Inverness. And Terry Butcher was the manager. And first thing I noticed was how far away it was. It was like right at the top of Scotland. You couldn't get any further north unless you were in Iceland. And but yeah, that was another good move for me. It was a no-brainer, really. I was working as well as playing for Chester, so everything was part-time up until I moved to Inverness, and that was my first real chance to go and play professional football.
Yeah, so that was your moment from going from semi-pro to full-time professional footballer.
Yeah, that was, and me noticing at work. I'm going playing football in Scotland, and it was a good feeling, to be fair. It really was, because that's all I ever wanted to do, and that was my chance to go and do it up there. So it was a no-brainer for me. I couldn't wait.
No. What was the difference like? Because you spent a couple of seasons over at Inverness, and obviously they were Scottish Premier League. So what was the difference in terms of like the facilities and your regime for training? Was there a massive difference when you went up there?
Well, yeah. In terms of the training, it was completely different. I'd gone from playing. What did we train? We used to train Tuesday and Thursdays. I think at Chester we only trained on a Wednesday sometimes, because we were winning the league by that much. We got just days off. And then when I went to Inverness, it was Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, in Thursday, Friday, game Saturday. And they were double sessions as well. So you were in the morning and afternoon. And it was really old school. Terry Butcher was the manager at the time, and he was so old school in terms of pre-season. He was running us, and I never experienced anything like it. It was, I just thought it's a different level of fitness, because I'd gone from being one of the fittest guys in a non-league team to being average in a professional team. I just thought, wow, these boys are fit. But that was one of the biggest things I noticed.
So that difference in fitness and the intensity of what you're having to do every day. And was it?
Yeah.
Did you find that daunting at every point? Did you go home at night and just think, did you start questioning whether you'd make it, or?
No, I didn't. I was too busy thinking about how painful my legs were every day. But no, I didn't. I never thought that, because, like I say, it's all I ever wanted to do from being young was play professionally, and I didn't want to go back working and I didn't want to go back working and playing part time again. So that's always in the back of your mind. You think, I think you're lucky, and you could be doing something completely different. But I'm outside playing football and running or whatever it is, and you got to think yourself lucky.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So it's, obviously, for so many people, football's a hobby that they really enjoy doing. So to be told this is what you're being paid to do for a daily job must be. It's like I can imagine myself, any big football fan, it'd be just a dream come true. Doesn't matter where you're playing or who you play for. It's just you live in the dream. Obviously, I think it was your second season at Inverness, wasn't it, where you had the cup run that got you to the final? Yeah,
it was. Yeah, second season. Really good. It was a new manager as well. John Hughes came in, and he was brilliant. Like, really good for me. The way he played, and it just developed me as a player as well. He was such a good tactician, and honestly, you wouldn't have believed it. I can't believe he's not working now. This guy, you probably never heard of him, have you? John Hughes. He was at Celtic.
Not off the top of my head, no.
No. Yeah, he was brilliant.
That's it. Scottish football
you don't really
doesn't
know
seem to get much mention.
No, it doesn't. But when you cross that border, honestly, it's just Scottish. They don't even put English things in paper. It's just all Scottish. Serious. But no, it was a good season. That we did well in the league as well, and won the cup, which is brilliant.
So what was it like for you? Obviously, you'd gone from, because you were still in your mid-20s by this point. You weren't exactly an old player or anything. You hadn't been playing for decades, but you'd gone from, like you said, working part-time, training once a week and having sessions cancelled because you're winning stuff easily, to then you're in the Scottish FA, you're in the Scottish Cup final, because you came on in that game. I think you came on as a sub.
Yeah.
And obviously, you won the game, so you get your winners. You've got the atmosphere of the stadium and everything. It's obviously bigger than you'd had before. What was all that like? That whole transition.
It was unbelievable. To be fair, I mean, the semi-final, I remember, because I started. It was funny because I started every single game in that cup competition, apart from the final. The manager dropped me for the final, but he started me in every other game. Celtic in the semis, and so it was a bit of. I was a bit annoyed, but then when we won the cup, it was gone. I was like, yeah, we've won it now, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it was unbelievable. It was something completely new. I mean, it was just playing at Celtic and Rangers and all the clubs that big clubs, and just completely different to what I'd experienced in England. But yeah, the final was unbelievable. I remember the manager saying, like, soak it all in, because you'll probably never experience anything like this again, and he was right. To be fair, I haven't, but unbelievable. And yeah, I've got the medal and stuff, and it is a proud moment. Like, we had a great group of lads at the time as well, and every one of them deserved it. Like, the players were outstanding that season, and some of them have gone on to bigger and better things from that squad.
Belton. What was it like for the fans? Because I mean, obviously, like, something that I've mentioned a few times now on previous podcasts about the show is that back when I was a kid, I'd go watching City with my dad, and like, before a game, the players would be training, doing the warm-ups, and then when they'd change activity, they'd be out over signing autographs for the kids, and there was quite a personal relationship almost between the fans and the players. And now you go to Premier League clubs, and it's like, you're miles away from them. You can't get to them. They don't come over to sign an autograph. I know you were mentioning like parts where the fans are right next to the pitch and stuff. So, during the time at Inverness, did you have that kind of relationship with fans where they were shouting you over for pictures and autographs, or was it more like it is in the Premier League now, where it's very separate?
No, I think it. Yeah, we had a great relationship with the fans in Inverness and Dundee. To be fair, it was really much like that. They were shouting you over, and there was always different days where you were going signing things and meeting the fans, and there were good interaction in both the clubs when I was up in Scotland. I always thought that in England it was like that back in the day, like you say, and now it's not so much. I always felt like Scotland was behind England in terms of that. Like, everything was old school England, if you know what I mean. So I had to explain. Well, that's how Scotland felt.
Like they're a decade or two behind everyone else.
I mean, like, we were getting the mini. We'd always meet at the ground. We'd get changed at the ground, get the minibus to the training facility where we'd train. Like, that's what they used to do down here back in the day. But now obviously they just go straight to the training grounds, and it just felt like that to me anyway. I don't know. I could be miles off it, but that's the way I thought about it. That's your experience of it, isn't it? Obviously, you said you ended up at Dundee, which you said didn't really go to plan for you. And then you sort of came back south over the border, didn't you? You ended up at Accrington Stanley. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went to who were there? Yeah,
I had to.
Yeah, I went to Dundee, and I really only do well there. It was I met Paul Hartley, the manager at the time, and I think he actually got sacked while I was still there, and a new guy came in called Neil McCann, and he brought quite a few of his own players and stuff, and I asked to leave, and then I went to Accrington Stanley. And again, didn't really play many games there, to be fair. They went on a run of games in League Two. I think they were unbeaten for so long, and the manager didn't make a sub for 10 straight games. He didn't make one sub. So I think it was something like that anyway. And but then I ended up signing another year with them, with Accrington, when they got promoted into League One. And I actually thought I'd play games again because he told me I would, but it didn't happen.
So basically, that was that was almost like the Football Manager scenario. You get promised game time, and then all of a sudden, that promise never materialises.
It was when I had the conversation with him at the end of the season in League Two. I said, I've not really played. I think I need to go and play some games wherever it is. And he said, no, I think you'll play this. You'll play some games with me this year. I want you to stay. So I was like, okay then. But it just didn't happen. One of those things. Yeah, and it kind of...
an explanation as to why, like... I mean, if that was me, I'd be like, hold on a minute, 6 months ago you said I'm getting game time, and now I've 6 months down the line, still not playing, I'd want an explanation, Do you get that opportunity, or is it dependent on the managers?
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's up to you really. If you want to go on, like when I was at Dundee and I wasn't playing, I was always knocking on the manager's door, why am I not playing? Asking questions, and and I can say it didn't really work like that. I don't know what it was. It was just you just accepted it there. There was just an acceptance of it's the same team, same subs.
Mm.
There's nothing really you can do. I had a couple of conversations with him, but no, just.
But you ended up on. Is that why you went to Fylde on loan then, just for game time?
Yeah. I went to Fylde on loan. And then what did I do? I hit my ankle. I was out for 2 months with that. I'd just gone there, so I think I played one game, hurt my ankle, missed 2 months, and I managed to squeeze some games in at the end, and before I came back to Accrington. But yeah,
because up until that point,
just didn't work out for me there.
You'd been quite injury-free, hadn't you, to be fair, up until that point? You'd had no major knocks.
I think I'd gone from playing quite a lot of games in Inverness, and the first year at Dundee to a certain degree, played I think 20-something games or whatever. I was playing, so I wasn't getting injured, and then all of a sudden I wasn't playing, and I was picking up injuries in training, and just it wasn't a great time. It was a bad two seasons for me in terms of injuries and not playing.
Just one of those things that's probably your old age as well, creeping up on you.
Could be, and it's football, isn't it? Some fans don't. Some managers don't see eye to eye with you. They see things differently, and like you say, you do get a bit older, pick up a few injuries, and hampers you for a couple of seasons. Yeah.
So you've ended up now. You're at Halifax.
I am.
You were there last season, and you've, like you said, we've just signed a new contract with them for the following season. What's obviously promotion? I'm guessing is the aim this year for you guys. So how do you prepare yourself? I mean, obviously it's a bit different with the coronavirus and everything that's gone on, but how do you approach the start of the season now as a player, preparing yourself for that push?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the aim. They want to get promotion. They've said that to us already. We're actually in tomorrow for testing. There'll be a corona test and some running drills, or maybe a yo-yo test thrown in there or something. Not looking forward to that.
Oh, what, a yo-yo test?
Yeah, it's like a bleep test. Remember the bleep test?
It's
similar to that. I think we'll be doing that tomorrow, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's going to be a grueling month, no doubt. And then the season will start pretty quick. And I think there's a big run of games as well, the first couple of months. I think there's like 9 games in a month or something stupid. It's crazy with this, because there's just going to be a backlog of games because they want to finish the season when it should finish. So it's going to be tough, but everyone's looking forward to it, to going back.
Hoping for a good run in the FA.
Yeah, I think that's what you always want, especially when you're playing in non-league, national league and all that. That's what you look forward to, big games in the FA Cup. Hopefully we can go a lot further than what we did last year.
Never know, you might get City.
Free tickets.
I'll take that.
What's the sort of like you were saying about the bleep test? It's like obviously it's pre-season. I don't think anybody likes pre-season, but is it the same? Like even at the professional clubs, where you've got some of these players who are dead serious about everything. I'm not saying footballers don't care, but if you take James Milner at Liverpool, for instance, I mean, he just wants to be at the ground even when he's not supposed to be there. He just wants to be training, he wants to do everything. He's very dedicated to his work. Do even those players hate pre-season?
I don't think he does. He loves it, doesn't he? He's super fit. I don't know. I think you just mentally get ready for it. It's coming. It's just in the back of your mind all through your holidays when you go away. You just know you've got to be ready for it. Everyone's doing pre-season now. I mean, you're going running before you're even in pre-season. It's a bit pointless. I don't think you need to do much really. I think pre-season was back in the day. It was everyone turned up 2 stone overweight, and that's why they had pre-season to get fit. but now everyone's okay now anyway. But no, like I say, I think you're just mentally prepared for it. I think if someone said to me halfway through the season we're doing a yo-yo test or a bleep test, I wouldn't be prepared for it. But I know it's coming, so I've kind of got my head around it a little bit.
All right. So, moving on then, just want to discuss basically your daily life now as a pro footballer. So, like, obviously, I'm guessing things are slightly different between Scottish Premier League team and, you know, League One teams or non-league teams. But just as a general whole, what is your daily get up routine for just like a normal weekday? You know, where you've got normal training. What's your?
So I'm getting up early tomorrow because we train in Leeds, and I'm still in Leigh, so it's a good couple of hours away. But there's 4 of us in the car, so we always take our turns driving. But we train Monday, Tuesday, same off Wednesday, and Thursday, Fridays. I'm actually doing a UEFA B course now as well to get into my coaching. So hopefully I'll be doing that some afternoons as well after training. But yeah, that's it really. We're in most days. We get the Wednesday off. Last season we actually got Monday off as well, but they've thrown a Monday in there this season because they really want to ramp it up and try and get this promotion.
So when you go to training, do you have like set days where it's like, right, today we're doing fitness, tomorrow we're doing set pieces, day after we're doing, formation, or is it just, you'll do a few hours of one thing, better than something else, to mix up your day, or is it set days or stuff?
So it'll be a bit different in pre-season. It's going to mainly be about getting fit, but the usual week would be Tuesdays are quite tough. There will probably be a bit of running thrown in there because you had Wednesday off. Thursday we always do out of possession day, so we focus on what the other team's going to do and try and match ourselves up against that, and then focus on how we're going to defend. And then on the Friday it'd be in possession, so the focus would be on how we're going to break teams down, what we're going to do in attack, and all that kind of stuff. And then on a Monday it's probably more of a recovery session. So you play the game Saturday and then you're in Monday. It's more of a recovery, get the legs going again, ready for Tuesday. But, yeah,
do you have all your meals prepared for you and stuff while you're obviously as a professional footballer? Do you have people preparing them for you and like making sure you're sticking to a specific diet, or?
They do like you looking after yourself in terms of food and nutrition and all that kind of stuff, but I do it myself. I know at Accrington, they had a guy who actually was a nutritionist and he brought stuff in for people. But up in Scotland, you had your meals, you had your breakfast, your dinner. It was all done.
All done,
a little bit different. Yeah, a little bit different now. You've got to get yourself to Greg's on way home.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
No. I'll be getting a visit tomorrow.
Hey, Big John Parkin was eating pies and still scoring the goals for York City, so he still does it right.
Yeah. Was that goalkeeper as well? It was that goalkeeper in the FA Cup, sat on the bench eating a pie.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was at Sutton or something like that.
Yeah, bless him. So on match days then, like, what sort of sessions do you have before the game? Is it very much like, obviously you do your pre-match sort of sessions the day before or whatever, but on the morning of the match, or before an evening match, what kind of session do you have? Is it just like a light, take it easy and get yourself mentally prepared for the game, or?
On a Saturday, we don't train on a Saturday or any time before the game. That we do all our work on a Friday. So if you've got a game Saturday, it would all be done on a Friday. We'd watch a video as well of the other team, and then when you get to the ground, there might be another video as well on some other stuff about them. Only difference when you play away is you have a pre-match meal when you on your way to London or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference. But we never really train on the day that we're playing. It would always be the day before.
No, just you warm up before a match.
Yeah, that's it really. Warm up straight into it.
And what about post-match? Because obviously, you see sometimes on TV or if you go to a game post-match, there's kind of everyone starts leaving the ground, but then you always see players out there doing little drills and warming down. Is that just a warm down for certain players, or is it something you all do?
We all do that. To be fair, we all have a little bit of a cool down after games, which is important. But you usually see lads who have not played doing a lot of sprints after games, just to get the miles in. Because if you've not played a game, then you need to do something. So they usually do a few sprints up and down the pitch. I've done a few of them in my time when I've not played, which are horrible because you're fuming that you've not played and then you go and running after the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. So Dan, have you anything to add to that so far? Anything you want to know?
No, apart from it's just refreshing to hear somebody talk about just wanting to play football rather than talking about going through all these fancy academies and all about the money style of it. So it's quite refreshing to hear it from that side of Danny. So nice one for that.
Yeah. It's nice as well, Danny, to hear like there was a brief mention of your agent, but there was nothing where it was like, oh, my agent was on the phone trying to get me a deal here, and here. Just, for that money side of, like your Yaya Toure, your Tevez agent tosspot. It just sounds like, you've just had a proper good, honest career in football. And I mean, I've seen your pictures on Facebook. I mean, you're off to Dubai every week. You're in your skimpy shorts, all sunning it up and everything, dreading your pre-season, my ass. But,
Not jealous at all, are you, Chris?
Oh, no. I mean, what would I rather be doing? Playing professional football and, be as thin as I used to be in high school? Or would I rather be sat at a desk at Wigan Infirmary handing maths out? But, I'm happy with my night shifts. But yeah, so for basically for the youngsters then, Danny, what best advice have you got for boys, girls, anyone who just wants to get into professional football? Or even just like the semi-pro, if they want to go and play for a proper team, what tips can you give them from sort of behind the scenes?
I just say go and enjoy it. Just go and play. Just go and play as much as you can and enjoy it, and even different sports as well. Just get yourself involved in different sports because you don't know how that might help you in terms of football. So yeah, all I did was just I love playing. I love playing in the street. I was playing football and then I was going on playing football again in the street with my mates. It was just what I did, and I love playing it. So yeah, just enjoy it and see where it takes you. Don't be too serious about it. But the ones who are wanting to go on to professional football and stuff is just make sure you have something else after it, because it doesn't last forever and it's so quick. I mean, it's gone like that for me really quick, and I'm 32. So just make sure you do well at school, honestly. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but yeah, do well at school and think of other things as well, not just football, because you need a backup plan, even if you do make it.
Yeah, because obviously, like I said, you've been lucky with injuries, but you could be the best player in the world, and at 21 years old, you could do your ACL, and that could be you done.
Yeah.
And then I mean, as City fans, we know Michael Johnson. He had his injuries, and he suffered a bit with his mental health as a result of what's happened to him. So that's probably the best advice. It's refreshing as well. You didn't even say, tips for youngsters, get yourself a pair of like Nikes or something. It's clear there's no, it's not money orientated. It's just like you said, enjoy your football and think afterwards. Have you thought about going into like management or like coaching at a professional level? I know you said you've been back to our high school doing some coaching, but would you look at doing your badges and go and doing it as a career? Yeah,
I'm on my UEFA B badge at the moment, so I'm hoping to get somewhere to coach soon. Actually, I'm just talking to someone, so hopefully that works out and I can get involved in that. But definitely, that's something that I'd want to do. I mean, I've been playing football for God knows how long now, so it just seems like the right thing to do for me at the moment. Is get into a bit of coaching.
Yeah.
What's your ceiling for that then? Are you looking to say hypothetically? You never know; it might happen. Like you said, you're only 32. You become on to be the Sir Alex Ferguson or the Pep Guardiolas of managers of the world. Is that what you're sort of aiming for? You just like your career, just wanting to be part of football no matter where it takes you?
It'd be nice. Don't get me wrong. If that ever happened, I mean, I'd take it. But no, I'm right at the beginning again.
Yeah.
Coaching is completely different to football. It's so different. There's one thing playing it, but actually teaching it to a degree is difficult. So I mean, I'm on the early stages of it, so I want to just get into it as much as I can now and see where it takes me. I don't even know what I'm going to be like as a coach. Hopefully, it is like Fergie and Pep Guardiola.
Well, just remember where we were.
Yeah.
You've obviously you're touching on things like City and Pep and all that sort of thing. I just want to know from your point of view, what's your take then on the whole financial fair play? Because obviously, at our end of the scale, we're talking almost billions, in terms of the money that's being spent. But even at the other end of the scale, you still have got teams that have got a decent pot of money to play around with, and you've got other clubs that are literally living off peanuts. So what's your take on it as a player?
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. And I don't think it'll ever change in the top flight. I think there's just so much money involved now. It's just never gonna happen. But our league, yeah, like you say, it happens in our leagues now. I mean, look at Salford. They've spent so much money on players, and God knows what their wages are like. And it is a bit unfair. Salford City, isn't it?
Salford's the one. Is they the ones that have got like Giggs and Scholes and that have all put money into?
Yeah, that's the ones.
Yeah.
They're paying big wages, and it does seem a bit unfair because you can literally buy yourself out of the league by having a rich owner. But it's a tough one. I mean, what do you do? Where do you start it? Just put a cap on the wages, and then what about the people who are already on big wages? What do they do? They've probably got mortgages.
Well,
God knows what.
That's
their
the difference, isn't it?
Their wages get cut down, and they can't pay their house off that they've bought. But I mean, it's completely different in the top flight when they don't need all that. It's a tough one.
What is the cap for wages now in the lower divisions? Because they've all been capped from Championship below, aren't they? In terms of wages.
No idea.
Yeah, it's definitely wages. I must have misheard it or something, but there was something to do with it. I think it was more to do with COVID rather than financial fair play. But it's to do with clubs, the ones with the money, spending on all sorts of players, bring them in, but they're only allowed to bring so many players in up to a certain wage, and they've all been at fixed wages. Maybe it's not the same in the lower divisions. Maybe it's just a football league. I must have misheard it.
I've not seen that.
Than me.
Let's go and check my wages next month.
Guarantee it'll be a dance like more than mine.
Yeah.
So I must admit that's something I've enjoyed. Like the fact you mentioned the mortgage. Then I remember watching. There was an evening, and Fred Air, like a former City player, he was comparing for some players who came out. I think it was Tony Buck who came out and said, like, in his day, Premier League, top division players would be catching the bus to go to training. They'd be sat there with the fans and stuff. He said, there's two words you don't hear anymore in a changing room, and it's mud and mortgage.
Yeah.
And it's like at the top flight, you don't, it's like even they get a signing on fee. They get paid just to put the name on a piece of paper. And that money's like, well, yeah, go buy your house, go do whatever you want. This doesn't matter to them. But obviously, like you said, I'm guessing even in the Scottish Premier League, there's players there. It was like, I've got bills to pay every month,
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, they do. It's nothing. There's no comparison to the English football. It's worlds apart in Scotland, completely worlds apart. and they definitely have mortgages and bills, and they probably live to their means as well. And when that's gone, then you're just like, what now? You used to getting X amount a week to not much, and that's what I'm saying when I say that before. It's just make sure you've got something else in the pipeline or something backed up, or because it doesn't last forever. I think there's only a small percent of actual professional footballers who can retire, where they don't need to do anything. And I think it's something like 0.1% of professional footballers. Crazy. So,
and most of them probably don't even want to. Usually they want to go off and do other stuff, don't they? And
yeah, and they all play for City.
Keep the money coming in. Yeah, yeah, basically. I'll tell you what. One question I've always wanted to know this, because I know you just mentioned you're going to go check your wages and stuff like for next month. Do you guys still get one of those stupid little envelope things with the peel things at the side? Because I just have images of like Pep, or Pep walking into the changing room, or Solskjaer walking into the changing room with just a big stack of wage slips, just handing them out before a game. All players folding them over, checking the national insurance and all. And it's like, I can't see it happening, but I've always wondered if that's what happens as a professional footballer. Do you get your wages like that, or?
Yeah, it's all the same. It's exactly the same as any employer. It's just, yeah. I think that's illegal. I think they're all online now, though, aren't they? I think you can do it online now.
Yeah, so. I know. Even I mean, I'm in the NHS and we get them all online and stuff. But it just seems really crazy to me that you'd have someone just dishing them out like there's your manager handing them out, and it just seems
I don't
really
think Pep
bizarre.
Guardiola does it.
No, I can't imagine him in there.
No, I don't.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, honestly, Danny, thanks for giving your time up tonight and talking to us. It has been a breath of fresh air, and I just hope, for anyone young, youngsters watching and stuff, it gives them an insight into what being a footballer is actually like. It's not all glitz and glam. You've just said like 0.01% or something can basically play football and retire, but you've literally just gone from Sunday League to Europa League in the space of like 7 years or something daft, and you've made a really good career out of what you do and what you enjoy. So thanks for joining us tonight, mate. It's appreciated.
I appreciate it. I've had a good time. It's been good.
And good luck with your coaching as well. Hope to see you in the top division. Like I said, remember who wished you good luck when you're fighting for the Fergusons of this world.
I didn't think you'd mention Fergie's name on a City forum. I thought that was against the law.
It's all anyone bangs on about anymore. Pep's this money-grabbing bugger, just buys teams, but Ferguson's the almighty. There's all sorts of managers out there, but if you're going to use one that everybody knows that did it from the beginning, But as much as I hate him, but no. In terms of the management style, good luck and all that.
Cheers, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
He's just said now he's wishing you good luck. Just give it 5 years' time when bloody, I don't know, Halifax or Accrington Stanley have played FA Cup third round at the Etihad, and this bugger comes along as the manager and we lose 1-0. It's like,
In that case,
it's all right. We'll find out where he lives. Leeds a very small town.
It is.
Anyway, honestly, cheers very much, Danny, for that. I appreciate it, mate, and good luck with your pre-season. Good luck with Halifax, and the rest of your career, mate. Because 32, you've got a good few more years left at least.
Yeah.
So
cheers.
So yeah,
appreciate that.
Take care, mate.
You
Take
too.
See
you guys. See ya.
See you later, mate. Okie dokie, Dan. So, just before we finish, I thought that was proper good. That was
summed it up though. Breath of fresh air in it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it, because obviously being City fans, we are so used to now just who we buy. Obviously at the minute everything's messy, and can we afford him? And we're one of the only teams that can afford him. And it's, I mean, I kind of got a similar feeling from Danny like I did with Jim Whitley. Jim came on and it was just those reminiscent times of what football used to be like. But speaking to Danny, for some teams, it still is like that. Going to the ground with your mates. I mean, he's going to training tomorrow. He's carpooling with 4 of his mates on the way. So
that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's using your words again, breath of fresh air in the terms of it. Like, we've known for the past 12 years, 13 years now since the owners have come in. We're just this club where we were little in comparison, minuscule in comparison, and then we just shot up, and that's all we really see nowadays, isn't it? We're just this massive global conglomerate almost in the football term. So you sort of forget every other team around you in the low divisions are still in that fix. You sort of forget about it. So it's nice to hear from a professional player that's. I liked what I was going to bring it up with him, but I completely forgot. Just the way he goes. I was playing part time with Chester and working part time, and then I got the call that Inverness wanted me, and the next day I said I'm leaving my job. I'm playing football.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Nowadays it's like, do I move to that team? They're only going to pay me $100,000 less or more than what I'm currently on. It just doesn't seem worth it. He just wanted to go because it was football, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even obviously at that level, even going from Inverness to Dundee and stuff. Yes, he's a professional footballer, but they're talking about mortgages. Usually, if you get a mortgage, it's a couple of years before you've got sort of any positive equity on it. So if you go to one club and then a year later someone else is after you and we have to sell you, it's like you could be losing. You could be financially losing out just for the sake of a career.
Yeah,
and that's it. Again, that's even in the Scottish Premier League. I mean, just because he hasn't played Premier League football and won FA Cups or anything, he shows his talent. He's gone from, like I said, Sunday League to Europa League in a matter of years. He's won a Scottish Cup medal, which I said to you before we even started this interview, any team that's not Rangers or Celtic to go and win the Scottish Cup has had a really good season.
Yeah.
Because that's what Scottish League's like. Yeah. But, he's played against some top players. He's done well for himself. And, I mean, good on him. But again, I think that says it all. He's now playing for Halifax. And he's still living in Leigh. So...
Yeah. Sticking to his roots.
There's part of it sticking to his roots, and it's just he probably thinks there's no point in moving to Halifax because I don't think he's got a 12-month contract.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, good.
But like you said, he's only 32, so he's got plenty of years ahead of him.
Definitely, and
good luck with his coaching as well. You never know; he might be leading Halifax in a coaching capacity up to the Premier League one day. You never know.
Well, it's always interesting. I've always found if you look at the professional, like the top managers now and coaches, there's only a handful of them that you can say were excellent footballers in their day. There's only a handful of them that you think, God, they were top quality players. I mean, Eddie Howe. I'm sure it wasn't Eddie Howe. He used to play for Bournemouth, but back in those days, Bournemouth was shit. Unless you were a Bournemouth fan, you'd never have heard of the guy, and he's done a decent job there. And it's the same with Sean Dyche. So, I mean, what did Alex Ferguson do as a player? It's different because we've now got Pep.
Played for Aberdeen.
We've got Pep, so it's a bit different now because he was bloody Barcelona captain. But it's one of them.
I mean, we can't really hold ourselves in that category as City fans, can we? Apart from Pellegrini, Mancini, brilliant Italian footballer, great in the national side. Pep, obviously, everyone knows Pep. Yeah. Mark Hughes, as much as we all have our discussions about him as a manager, he was a good footballer. Stuart Pearce, whether he's a good footballer or not is a different matter. He was just an absolute fucking psycho.
Joe Royal, Keegan.
Joe Royal, yeah, exactly.
So we've I think because City, I mean, that's it. People say City don't have a history, but you can tell with the managers that we've attracted in the past, even when we were bobbins and had no money, we still attracted very good managers who were successfully well known within the, the football world. They weren't just random managers nobody had heard of. So I thought that was good, and I honestly hope that some people watching might take something from that. Just a quick there's two things I want to address with you. Messi, is he gonna? Do we need him? Do we need him?
I see on our team. I saw your post earlier. As much as you say he needs to come to City to prove he's the best out of him and Ronaldo, you're still quite keen on him coming to England, especially to City. I just seem to be that percentage, that very tiny percentage that just doesn't want him at all. As much as I love Messi in terms of a player, obviously I can't say it as a person I've ever met him. I wish I do. He can give me some handouts shortly. But in terms of a player capacity, he is world class. He could still be. I don't believe it anymore. I think De Bruyne, in essence, has overtaken him in terms of one of the best players in the world right now. All I can see is bad things more than good, because if you think Ferran Torres, for instance, right winger, Messi is predominantly a right winger. Yep. How do we know that if Messi ends up coming to City, how do we know that Ferran Torres wasn't going to have a better season than Messi? Because everybody can see it. If City were to sign Messi, if it goes ahead, who's going to be picked first, Ferran Torres or Messi? You can be the greatest manager in the world. Well, yeah, probably. Fucking hell. It's all Algerian fans will be jumping down the throat for that. Who the fuck's Messi, Mahrez? But no, if you can be the greatest manager of all time, you can have all the massive power and everything behind you. The moment you drop a player like Messi for a player like Ferran Torres, you're going to be hounded by the media if you draw a game, lose a game, or even win a game just 1-0. Yeah. You can see it now, especially when the media plays at City. Oh, Man City only just beat Leeds United 1-0. It would have been completely different if Messi was on the pitch. Nobody's ever going to know that. I understand that. Messi could come into the team and absolutely walk it and win us the Champions League for all we know. I won't mind that. I'm a stubborn bastard, but I'd take my hat off and say I was wrong about it. But a player like Messi coming to the club means only one thing. If he gets dropped, we're going to get hounded for it. And other players like Ferran Torres, who is only 20, 21, he's got the potential to be up there. I really do rate that lad. He's got everything in his locker. But if Messi comes, we're never really going to see him. Messi's never going to be dropped, even if it's a cold, wet and windy night at Stoke. He's not going to be dropped for that. So, no. And it's just I'm still one of them that doesn't like. I like the traditional City in terms of old style fans, the ones who just go to watch the football, love City, play for City. I don't want all these. I don't mind them, but just all these wannabe City fans because Messi plays, or you can say it about any player like De Bruyne or Aguero, but Messi attracts a worldwide attention, which would be good on a financial stance for City, but it brings that negative feel. I guess I'm just not necessarily old school, but a certain type of City fan. But that's just where I stand. I know more than 99% of people disagree with what I've just said, but it's a personal opinion, and I'd be happy if he does come to City. I'd love to be proven wrong. I really would.
Yeah. See, I mean,
I know I went a bit off tangent there,
but no, it all looks good. But I did the show last night, so the people know my opinion on Leo and possibly coming to City. I think it would be good. My problem is I can argue whatever side of the argument I want to choose, and I mean, you mentioned about the the media. If we drop him and we don't batter a team, or we lose, or we draw, or something. To be quite honest, I don't think it matters whether we sign Messi or don't sign anyone.
He'll be more though.
I just think that it's literally the media just are out to get City, and I've said this before with the financial fair play. It doesn't matter what we do. British media in particular, they just want to stir shit wherever they can find it. I mean, look at Sam Allardyce. Arguably the best appointment the FA had made for a long time. Everyone wanted a British manager. He came in. We know he can do good stuff with the crap that's available to him, which is basically what the England squad is. And the British media go out to stitch him up and got him sacked. And it's like, And they do it every time
And
there's
he's
a
the only
you know,
manager with a 100% record.
yeah, and they got him sacked. And it's the same every World Cup, every Euros. It's like the first thing they can do. I remember at the last major tournament, and obviously we've had issues with goalkeepers. Like, was it Robinson who let the ball go in, or Rob Green? And
Rob Green.
They were just showing the warm up, like the training, and they'd filmed one of the goalkeepers, like the third choice keeper, who's like dropping stuff. And it's like he's clearly not making an effort, but you're pointing it out. So the media side of it, I'm not bothered. The fan side of it, the whole. I mean, he's going to bring one hell of an entourage. You've got your Algerian lot who've all turned up for Mahrez. Personally, I'll tell you something. I want to know where the bloody hell all these Algerians were when we had Benabia. Because they weren't knocking about then. I'm sorry, Ali Benabia is the best Algerian to play for Man City, so you can sod off.
Yes, completely agree.
But it's just like, yes, we're going to end up with like players from all over the world. Sorry, fans from all over the world, just like, yeah, I support Manchester. And it's like, Manchester, they don't even have a clue.
No.
And even I think after Messi's retired, the fans still thinking he's there because in their village in the jungle, there is still a billboard with Messi in a City shirt up. So that I don't get. But on the other hand, I mean, City Dave always used to say about City's place in world football and saying we're never going to be like the Barcelona or the Madrids or the Munichs or the Juventus. And if a big player is going and one of them comes knocking, we'll always lose out. Maybe even if Messi came and was a massive flop for City, because I still think he'd come here and just get annihilated, possibly by Danny Williams in the FA Cup or whatever. But the thought that, maybe if somebody of his prestige, whether he's earned it or not, maybe that might actually make other players just think, actually, you know what? City aren't just this. They've moved on from noisy neighbour to kind of annoying landowner. Maybe actually they're more of a superpower. They've taken that next step. Yeah. And I think that could be. I'm very much on the fence. I think it could be all or nothing. It could go totally tits up. Financial fair play could end up back going all to pair, cock and balls or whatever. But it could work. And I think the one thing that we have got going for us is the fact that we've got, even though I'm not happy they're here, you've got Pep, Bergestein and Soriano. I'm not happy with them being at the club, but if they're at the club, I think that's the one thing that's going to possibly bring. I don't like the way they run stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, Bergestein and Soriano. Some of the deals they do at the club, some of the my stance on transfers at City.
Edison, Bernardo Silva for an absolute steal. Laporte, who would really hurt.
Bonnie,
Mangala was well before it.
Sane for the peanuts we sold him for. I'm sorry, I'd have let that bastard rot for the next 12 months and see whether Bayern Munich wants to sign him for free after he's not played football for 2 years.
He could have brought so much negativity to the club, though.
Not one playing golf, he couldn't.
Well,
if you don't want to be part of this team, I'm sorry, it's my ball. If you don't want to play, you can fuck off. You can go play. You can go play next door's garden. I don't want to. I'd make the bastard do drills, and if he's not happy doing drills, just running up and down. There's your golf clubs. Boys Nopes round the corner. Off you sod. Go on. There's 15 quid. Rent yourself a golf buggy. No dicking about. So yeah. But anyway, that's a totally different thing. And if they're staying and Pep's staying, I'm going to be positive. This is a sneaky preview for everyone watching. There is a new and improved Laney coming for the start of the new season. Actually, no, it's not a new. It's not a new and improved Laney. It's more alter ego Laney. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That's going to be fun.
God help us.
There's two comments that we've had that I really want to address that I've got up on my phone, and both are from David Christie. All right. The first one, Laney. Rumor is you've had a call from Messi to tell us the gossip. Okay. Can confirm. Leo Messi did actually ring me today. The cheeky bastard woke me up because I've been on nights. And all he wanted to know was basically what is worth getting more, a Morrison's club card or a Tesco club card, because he wants to know where's best to do his shopping. So I've given my opinion.
Lidl.
I always think Morrison's is better because you get your £5 voucher when you spend, you know. And the other one as well, Laney, you've never done a bleep test, lad. Don't know why you had your hand off when your face. Hold on a minute, right? I never used to be the chunky, funky monkey that I am now, all right? First of all, pictures on my Facebook of me with a six-pack. Secondly, I used to play wing for Lee East Rugby League, and I was fast. And thirdly, I've done bleep tests. My record in bleep test is 11-7. And I used to do bleep tests for the rugby, and then when I was 18, I was doing professional wrestling. We used to do bleep tests there as well. So I think I could get about to level 7 now on the bleep test, but you can walk the first 5, so I'm all right with that.
I just want to highlight that I get a stitch and I have no stamina when I'm sat on my ass, so there's no point me even discussing about lying about having a bleep test, so don't worry about telling me fibs, Laney.
I didn't know people still got stitches. Wow. I forgot about it. I've not had a stitch for years. Oh,
Dear me.
Anyway. It's all for shits and giggles.
What was his name anyway?
That guy, David Christie.
Get in
To be
touch,
fair, he's
David.
give us a round
Laney
of
wants a
applause.
heart-to-heart.
He's given us a round of applause and said something different. So yeah, I appreciate the comments. Appreciate people watching. I'm gonna have to go because I'm probably gonna be pushing time for work. But yeah, thanks Dan for joining me tonight. It's been fun. Thanks again to Danny Williams for joining us. Thanks for people for watching. Stay safe, and well,
be
if anybody
blue.
wants to, stay blue. If you want a Messi autograph when he signed, you can find him at your local Morrison's.
Lidl.
Oh, I forgot about Lidl. Their bakery. Man, those toffee yum-yums. Oh. Those toffee yum-yums
Blues.
are
Chris
sex.
is on a mental case
sex. Now. Oh, my God. So sweet and all that gooey goodness in the middle. I love it. Anyway, take care, Blues. Stay safe. As City Dave always says, City till we die.
Take care,
guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.